Howdy, for my Photism video project, I chose to do snails. So the snail is a member of the phylum Mollusca in the class Gastropodia. So the phylum name was derived from molluscus, which is a Latin word meaning soft, and Gastropodia was derived from the Greek word gaster and podos, meaning gut and foot. So the common name is snail, and the scientific name is going to be the genus Gastropodia. And there are multiple different types of snails, but the three main are going to be land, freshwater, and sea snails. So where these snails live is going to be the land snails are going to be terrestrial, so meaning they live on land. They typically are found in moist areas like under logs or leaves. They feed on mostly organisms with high calcium, so anywhere that you can think of high calcium levels like forests, wetlands, or prairies, you can typically find snails. Sea snails are going to be the saltwater aquatic snails, and they are found all throughout the ocean on every single layer. Typically, they're found most commonly below the tidal zones or in the sand or mud flats around these areas. Some of these species do tend to stay in place and or have like a home base type where if they're experiencing any stress, they return back there. So the freshwater snails are going to be your freshwater aquatics, which are more like the ponds, streams, rivers, and lakes. You can find them in the water or around the moist soils or other aquatic plants. So the feeding process is going to be, it starts with their upper tentacles that use chemosensory, which is where they can sense the molecules in their food, which they use their upper tentacles to do so, which is going to be right over here to the left. Then after that, after they find the food, they're going to use scraping motion using their radula structure. So this is going to be as they move, they're going to use a tongue-like structure that has microscopic teeth and get the food into their mouths. Once the food gets in their mouth, it enters the digestive system similarly to how ours works. So their digestive system contains stomach, digestive gland, and intestine. So in the stomach, just like ours, there's going to be chemical and mechanical digestion. And then the digestive gland is going to secrete enzymes to break down the food. And then the intestine is going to be the final absorption of minerals. And you can see all these structures in the image to the left. So some of the predators are going to be organisms like birds, turtles, pigs, raccoons, ducks, frogs, fish, and even humans. They have a large range of predators due to their high nutritious value. Now, to get that nutritious value, they feed on organisms high in calcium like algae, biofilm, seaweed, vegetables, fruit, fungi, plant decay, small fish, and even worms. So they do have some unique evolved traits such as torsion, which is where they can move 180 degrees in either direction, which allows them to have a higher radial view. And this is important because of the location on their eye, their location of their eye, which you can see to the right. They have sensory tentacles, which, as we talked about before, their chemosensory allows them to find food using these tentacles, and they can have two or four. Their shells are spiraled and typically are used as a sense of organ maintaining and also protection. So the radula, which we discussed before, is tongue-like and has microscopic teeth, so it aids their eating process. They then have mucus, which allows for their adhesion to surfaces and even mating. And then they have their foot, which allows them to move. It kind of acts like an anchor on the ground and it pushes them forward. So they are in the domain Eukarya, kingdom Animalia, phylum Mollusco, and class Gastropodia. So the role of a snail in our ecosystem is that they're consumers of dead or decaying organisms such as plants, wood, and even other small worm-like creatures. And then they also are very nutrient rich in their excretion, such as like their waste, which is vital to the formation of our soil, and they act similarly to fertilizers. They also, in like the more underwater areas, clean algae or fish matter, which is why you can typically find them in fish tanks because it allows to keep the water clean. They also provide predators with high protein amounts in primarily calcium. And there are my resources. Thank you.